What if I told you that the most dangerous situation for your team is when it seems like there are no problems at all? I know, it sounds completely backward, but it's an incredibly powerful idea, and we're going to unpack it right now. No problem is a problem. Yeah, this seemingly contradictory statement comes from Taiichi Ono, who was the brilliant mind behind the Toyota production system, which, we now call lean manufacturing. It just kind of hangs in the air like a riddle, doesn't it? So let's really dig into this, because understanding this one little phrase can completely change how you see your work and, honestly, your team's entire path to success. What on earth did Taiichi Ono really mean by that? Well, the secret to Ono's quote isn't some complex high-level philosophy. Nope. It's about the escalation of problems. It's all about how easily the smallest frustrations, the ones we tend to just ignore every day, can spiral into total, full-blown crises. Just think about it for a second. In almost any workplace, you've got those little daily annoyances, right? A software glitch that keeps popping up, a process that's just a little inefficient, a minor but consistent mistake. They're small, so what do? We just work around them and write them off as no big deal. And this is where things get really tricky. We get so used to these little headaches that they basically become invisible. They just blend into the background noise of the workday, and we start accepting them as just a normal part of the job. But here's the thing. They aren't normal. They're actually warning signs. This right here maps out the predictable and totally preventable life cycle of a problem that gets ignored. See, it starts with lots of these small issues that everyone just dismisses as normal. Then, eventually, they start bubbling up into medium-sized problems. But since the team never practiced on the small stuff, these often get solved poorly. And then finally, they escalate into huge, expensive crises that force you to call in outside experts to clean up the mess. And here's where the rubber meets the road. This shows us the real cost of doing nothing. We're not just talking about inconvenience here. Ignoring these small issues leads to recurring problems that cause tangible harm and very real financial losses. The crucial point to get is that these small problems will grow if you let them. Okay, so if ignoring problems is a one-way ticket to a crisis, what's the alternative? Well, it's not just about having a better attitude. It's about having a system. This is a core principle of continuous improvement, or Kaizen, a system specifically designed to catch these issues while they're still small and manageable. So let's look at a really powerful tool for this, the problem basket. The real challenge is creating a system that can actually collect all those little frustrations, analyze them to figure out which ones to tackle first, and then, most importantly, solve them one by one before they ever get a chance to multiply.
And that system is called the problem basket. Think of it as a central hub, a shared database where every single problem, no matter how tiny it seems, gets logged. It's then managed by a dedicated team to make absolutely sure nothing falls through the cracks.
The process itself is actually pretty simple and logical. First, problems are received from literally anyone in the organization. The team then assembles and categorizes them. Next, they prioritize them based on their impact. And finally, and this is the key step, they deploy these problems to the right people to get them solved.
Okay, so a system on paper is one thing, but how does something like this actually function in the real world? With real people and all the pressures of daily work. Let's take a look at how this kind of collaboration really comes to life. Mohammed Ajlouni highlights a great example of an organization that was facing this exact challenge. Just countless small problems happening every single day. So instead of ignoring them, they implemented a system just like this one to tackle them head on. And the power of this system really lies in the partnership. You have a continuous improvement team that acts as the administrator and the coach. They manage the basket and teach problem-solving methods. But, and this is crucial, the actual problem-solving is done by the employees on the front lines. They form their own small teams and are empowered to fix their own frustrations. And this brings us right to the very heart of continuous improvement, or Kaizen. The entire system, the basket, the teams, the coaching, it's all built on one fundamental principle. Address every single small problem as soon as it appears, and even more importantly, solve it for good so it never ever comes back. And now, when we come back to Taiichi Ono's quote, it makes perfect sense, right? Having no problems is a problem because it just means you aren't looking. It means you're blind to all the small issues that are festering just under the surface, growing into future disasters. The goal isn't a workplace with no problems. It's a workplace that is excellent at seeing and solving them. So, as we wrap this up, I want to leave you with this question. What are the small, normal frustrations in your daily work? What are the no problems that you and your team have just learned to live with? Because finding those, well, that's where true improvement really begins.